Welcome back to STL TV Live. Shauna and Derion are still with me from St. Louis Graduates High School to College Center, and we're talking about the summer melt phenomenon and how the center really addresses that. You know, I'd actually read some of the papers and the research that the sort of Harvard researchers sort of when this first broke about what summer melt is, and it's really interesting because it's just saying that that summer alone, just through lack of communication, lack of being in a school environment, having someone to be your kind of point person, that can solely be the reason why students don't enroll. Tell me a bit more about sort of some of the scenarios of the students coming into you and the conditions and what you're trying to prevent so that they don't, you know, drop out before they even start, if that makes sense.
Sure. About 2/3 of the students that we see are dealing with financial issues. And so what we're trying to prevent is if they receive their acceptance letter, they receive their scholarship notices, but there's still too much of a financial gap. We do have the financial aid advisor on staff there. They can go through that letter with the parent, with the student, and explain what the financial ramifications will be if they take out a large loan. We also try to do some educating about finances in that. We've had some great success stories. Last summer we were able to work with a young man who came in. He was staying at a homeless shelter, and he came in, his plans had kind of fallen apart due to the economic situation of the family. He came in throughout the center. He was able to touch base with us 5 times, and that student enrolled in college. His mentor is the president of the college that he attends. He's studying computer science. He has completed his first year of school and will be a sophomore. And we were able to help him through the entire process. You know, he'd done the hard work in high school, he got accepted, but some things fell apart.
So do you think the falling apart really comes down to not having someone like yourself, a counselor who's there during the school year, but because you're off during the summer, do you think it really comes down to not having a college counselor or a counselor at that to communicate with?
A lot of times it does. So I'm a high school counselor, and I leave at the beginning of June. I won't return to work until the first week of August. And so many of our schools are closed during the summer. Where do students go? Where do they go if maybe they've been accepted to several schools and they changed their mind over the summer? Their transcript probably hasn't been sent to that second or third choice school. So we're able to help with those situations as well.
Okay, well, let's talk about, we've got some photos that we were looking at in the first segment. We can continue with them. Derion, tell me about some of your coworkers, your other interns, your colleagues, if you will, and their backgrounds and why they were interested in interning with St. Louis Graduates.
Okay, so I work with 2 other interns, Deja and Jasmine. Deja is going into her sophomore year at Harrisville State University, and Jasmine is going to SEMO, I believe. They're both passionate as I am about the high school to college center, and they both visited the center last year as well. I can't say that I exactly know their stories, but I can guarantee you that we're all passionate about helping our peers.
And there we are looking at a photo of you with, is that another one of the interns or
No,
one of the
that's
counselors?
the student that I helped who
student.
is going to Webster University this fall. So, yes. And
those are just other families? And
Yeah, that
more
actually is a
photos.
counselor, and those are 2 counselors there, and then a mom and a son that came in, and
Okay.
he completed his enrollment. Yeah, he'll be enrolling. That's a student that came in. He was at 60% completed, and he's 100% when he left, and that's a representative from Forest Park, St. Louis Community College, and a counselor.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, from other stuff that I've read, you know, we always, for a long time, it was really the focus so much on, you know, graduating high school. Now college is becoming very accessible, but it's really now the focus on graduating from college. That's kind of become the hurdle, is we can get enrolled, but having students enroll year after year. And Derion, even in some of your situations, what were some of the things happening in your case that prevented you from having, or hadn't made the situation that created for you to switch schools each year?
As we mentioned earlier about the graduating from high school and not having that easy access to the high school counselors and the resources that we had in high school to pinpoint us in the direction that we needed to go. And like Shauna said earlier, students who may change their mind over summer don't have that guidance, the resources, especially if you're a first generation college student and you come from a background where that your family can't guide you in the process. Another big part of the center, which we mentioned a little about, is how they can help you continue throughout college, not just to attack that summer melt issue that we're having, but also, like in my circumstance, when I was transferring from college and going into my junior year, having that resource there to help me even though I wasn't a high school student, I still struggled with understanding
Sure.
everything that needed to, that came with college and having me complete that process. So.
Yeah, no, that's great. So it's important to note, we've got the information there for you on the screen, that it's St. Louis Graduates and it's high school to college center. But as Derion just pointed out, you don't have to be a senior who's just graduated or a recent graduate going into your freshman year of school. You can be in college already, and if you need any assistance about financial aid or just your studies, the academic side of it, please reach out. It's entirely free. It's a drop-in. You just walk into the center, or you visit the website, or call the number right there on your screen. Thank you so much. This has been really interesting. Thank you so much.
you.
And good luck with everything this summer then.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. All right, well, when we return on STL TV Live, we'll talk to someone from the Central West End, SID, which is the Community Improvement District, about their unforgettable Friday entertainment and food summer event. Stay tuned.